Video game companies are getting more and more comfortable over the passing years with incorporating monetization or scummy business tactics into their business practices. Despite the amount of criticism and backlash that these companies are continuing to get, the sad reality is there are people out there who are shilling out money for these companies, and this is why they continually put games in. Companies like Ubisoft, Bethesda, EA, Activision, WB Games, just to name a few, have done some really shady stuff over the years. But one company that I never thought would stoop that low would be Sega, but I guess I stand corrected, because as it comes out, Yakuza 7 will feature DLC that you have to buy in order to have a New Game Plus option. You'll be able to buy this, or at least in Japan, when it releases in Japan, it will be about the equivalent to 63 cents to purchase it for a little bit. And then if you decide to purchase it at a later date, you're looking about spending $9 for a New Game Plus feature. New Game Plus is a option that many people enjoy, right? The first game to go out and do this was actually Chrono Trigger back on the Super Nintendo. This was the first game to fully have a New Game Plus option. And it's something that players enjoy because it gives them a chance to go back and enjoy the game with varying degrees of items that they collected through their first, second, third playthrough, whatever it may be. So for a company to go through and lock this behind a paywall is absolutely scummy, and shame on Sega for doing it. Sega should be ashamed. But this isn't the first rodeo that Sega has had with these microtransactions in particular. We don't really need to take a look any further than the Persona franchise to see what Atlus is doing, because Atlus and Sega are the same company, right? Shin Megami Tensei started charging here and there for side quests. Persona 5 would go on to sell DLC at some rather ridiculously priced for cosmetics, and then also charge for the extra costumes. Now, that in of itself is never really that big of a deal. Sure, I like Shin Megami Tensei, sure, I like Persona, but I mean, I'm not going to go out and buy those, so it didn't affect my playthrough. The problem is, Atlus is such a small company that it kind of went under the radar. No one really saw that, and it kind of fell into that cosmetics borderline, right? Then out came the dancing games, and some of the stuff that they charged for that, how they, some of their business tactics they did for that were not necessarily as shady as some of the other companies, but there were some clear distinctions of business practices that just were not that consumer friendly. And yet here we are with Sega now charging for a New Game Plus option. Now, will this halt my purchasing of Yakuza 7? Probably not, but it's not going to stop me from making a video. I can sure as hell tell you I will not be spending a damn dime, let alone a penny, in order to get that microtransaction. I'm not going to go in there and pay for a feature that should be included in the game for free, and I will protest that to the very end, and that's in part what this video is about. I want you guys to spread this around. I want you guys to talk about this. I want you guys to make this publicly known. I want you to tweet this out to Sega, this video, and tweet Sega and let them know that you do not agree with this. You know, that's something. The more and more we let these companies get by with these scummy business practices, the more and more that they are going to continue to do so. And the problem is there are people who are going out and spending ludicrous amounts of money on this shit. So developers feel like they can just do it and get away with it. And we're just supposed to put a giant big ol' shit-eating grin on our face and say, yeah, you know what? Yeah, we'll do that. We'll spend this money. The problem is more and more developers are going to see that they can get away with this, and they're going to continue to do it. This is why we need to be adamant and show our frustration and sometimes not buy these cosmetic games or items in this, because the more and more we do it, the more and more comfortable these companies feel. And this is clearly what we are seeing with Yakuza 7 right now. And it's a shame to see a company that I love so many of their IPs from stoop this low to just turn an extra bit of cash. You know, it should come from the quality of your games, not so much worrying about. I mean, I get they're a business and they need to make money, but there's better ways of doing it. And you know, is it really worth putting your company through the mud in order to turn a quick buck? Let me know down below what you guys think about this. Hit subscribe there if you have not done so already, to keep up to date with all things JRPG, RPG, and Japanese gaming related. You guys have been watching Gaming with Spoons, and most importantly, stay happy, be happy, game happy. Spoons is checking out.